thank you so much for your time on the program. Now, so what's your assessment? Of course, you're a creative, consultant, and the activities in the Nigerian economy vis-a-vis the manufacturing sector. So, how would you assess, the manufacturing, the level of activities in that sector, especially in the first, second quarter of 2019?
I think the manufacturing sector has been doing quite well in producing goods and services that are usable. But how the goods and services, are they reaching a quite number of people? So the number of people that we are reaching, that we are serving through the goods and services, are they, like in the IT sector, people develop apps. They are developing apps every day. They are working on new apps. New apps have been developed that are helping people's productivity and businesses. For instance, now there's a new app that just came up, OPay. I don't know if you heard of that. OPay
That's in the transport sector, right?
Not only in the transport, it's a mobile wallet app. So they now have other features in the app. One of it is transport and the rest like that. So the manufacturing industry aspect of the economy is doing well.
I know that from your observation, let's talk about, for instance, in the creative sector where you function primarily. How would you, say they have done in terms of creativity and the level of productivity in that part of the sector?
Yeah, we are doing quite well because people are working on projects and contents are being developed to aid, to sell products, to market products and all that. So we are doing quite well.
What would you consider the most, the part of creative content that is viable? Because I know a lot of people look, of course we're looking at the manufacturing sector in totality, but I want us to quickly talk a bit about the creative part of it. So what part would you consider most viable? I know a lot of people, creative, maybe in terms of, some people don't even understand what it means when it comes to, content. So what part of the content or side of the content would you consider most viable when it comes to, taking opportunities in that?
Viable, I think the media aspect is very viable, because that one, the media aspect pushes all other aspects. Because when you create content, you aid it with graphic designs, you aid it with videos, you aid it with all other things like that. So in the creative industry, the media is viable. It even sells all other products. It aids all other industries. Because when you create product, let's say in the agricultural industry, for instance, a new product, you package it, you need video content and graphics and all that to push it into the market, to sell it, to communicate to people. So the media aspect is much more viable.
Then when you talk about people taking advantage or looking at opportunities in that area, a lot of people out there, young people, young guys, young ladies out there, might want to say, look, what exactly can I take advantage of when it comes to looking at the creative content, the creative sector of the media, aspect of, the sector. So what would you advise them to do when it comes to taking advantage or taking opportunity?
They can go into web development and graphic designs if they want to take advantage of anything specifically. You understand? They can go into web development.
Tell us a bit about, I know a lot of people will say, look, I don't even know how to start. I don't even know how to, where to go to, or what would you suggest or advise the kind of training? So what kind of sort of start for a beginner advice would you give?
I think this 21st century, as I usually say, this thing makes us very powerful in this generation. It starts with YouTube. You can just Google it, go to YouTube. You want to develop yourself in any aspect, start with YouTube. That will be my first advice, the specific next step. For anyone now to start out with nothing, you should take. Just start with, let's speak like we are of this generation. Start with YouTube.
So in essence, what you're saying is that there is a lot of information that one can get on
Out
YouTube.
there. You can start it, develop yourself. Then if you want to now go further for certification, for professional courses, then you can now take those steps further.
Okay, let's talk a bit more about, let's come back home now to what we're talking about in terms of manufacturing. You have said earlier that we're doing quite well, but are there other challenge that you think a lot of people are facing there? Because somebody told me recently that one of the challenges that they are facing in terms of producing one items or the other, or how to become productive or viable, is one, power and electricity.
Yeah, power.
So
Power
let's,
is one of
let's
the-
discuss that.
Yeah, power. Even for ITs, when you are working on, let's say in the industry where I work, you are working on a project and you want to render it, and it takes about, let's say, 2 hours to render a project that you've been doing for about 2 days or 3 days, thereabouts. And all of a sudden, okay, let's say you have a UPS, all of a sudden, the lights went off. It might affect your project, might stop you from rendering what you want to render. So, light power is one of the major challenge, even in other aspects, in packaging, in other aspects. In agriculture.
I know you.
Power is a
I know
big
you
challenge.
represent, apart from power, I know you represent for the major, aside power, I know you represent a generation of young people out there, and as a creative consultant, for an average young man who is starting out there, what do you think is the most challenging thing that they face starting out, something out for them? Or you want to give us your experience, at least when you started out as a creative,
Yes, based on my own experience, I think getting the tools, if you've decided on a field that you want to explore, getting the tools to start with, the equipment, is a very big challenge. If avenues can be created to help people get the tools that can enable them to kickstart on a path, on a field, on a journey, then it will help them. So getting the equipment, let's say for instance, you want to be trading the financial market, for instance, you need the MT4 tools, you need the laptop, you need those things to start. So the first step is getting the tools that will enable them to explore any field they choose to explore.
Now, give us a
So-
bit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should allow you to finish.
Okay, so if, for instance, another example is if you are going into, let's say, packaging of foodstuffs, for instance, you need to get the simplest one, sealing machine, and all that. So getting the tool is one of the major challenge and first step too. Then the next thing is how, after getting the tools and equipment, how do you utilize these tools and make them productive? That's where knowledge comes in. You need to fill your knowledge gap, to work on yourself. You know the major things you need to, due diligence you need to follow to scale through.
Now, I just want us to discuss based maybe from the background of your experience, and say how we can help people, because the essence of the show really is to help a lot of people out there to find opportunities where they think there are no opportunities really. And yes, we're discussing about manufacturing sector, but focusing basically now on the creative aspect of it. Now, if you're to take someone from point A to B, so what are the things? What would you do practically? What are the things that you will want to, apply, or the approach that you want to apply in that case, that scenario?
Take them from point A to B.
Becoming,
to operate in the industry.
yes, exactly.
The first and most important thing that I want people in this day and age to understand is that the game of finance has changed. When you are exploring an industry, you first start with a passion. At the onset, you won't get the expected,
Results.
no, not results. You will be serving people, but as entrepreneurs or as someone starting out in an industry, people will want to test your service. So you do it for peanuts at times,
Okay.
or you do it for free, just for people to test your service. Then as you go along, you start. Another thing is to gain skills, financial intelligence. It's not about working. When you work, when you make some money, financial intelligence will enable you to know how to increase the money so that you don't have to depend on that profession. There are days when you won't get contracts, for instance, if you have chosen a field. So you have financial intelligence, you know how to spend your money. Money keeps coming in even after working, when there's no work coming in. So if you want to start, you just get into the industry, do one or two things, start your business, then gain financial intelligence, know how to multiply your money.
Okay, for instance, in the creative sector where you play very well, you know, you said earlier that there are different kinds of, things that you can actually do in that creative sector. You talk about website development. You also talk about maybe creating an app and all of that. What are other things that one can actually do in that creative, apart from website and creating apps? I know the other day, I mean, behind the camera, you talk about how advert how also played a major role in that area.
Other things you can do aside creating an app.
Because, okay, let me break it down a little bit. For instance, one has a website. I have a website, or you created that website for me. You have serviced me, and I've paid for it. Now I need an app. You created that app for me. I pay for it. Now, if I want to be, perhaps maybe I want to be known, or I want to take it further where I want to brand myself, or I want to package myself, how do I go around it? For someone who wants to say, look, a lot of people are in the business of creating websites.
Yes.
A lot of people are in the business of creating apps. So I should find other things to do. So what are the other things really can I can?
You can actually offer value-added services. After creating an app or a website, there goes the maintenance.
Okay.
Website.
There's a maintenance aspect.
Maintenance aspect, where you update the website, where you do, update the website and
like in terms of servicing and all that.
restructure it, add some other things too. So the aspect of maintenance can help you flourish after creating a website or an app.
Because people will be there to pay for it, to maintain it. Okay, I want us to take a break now.
Yeah.
Then when we come back, we'll talk more on some other issues.
Okay.
You're still watching Business Focus. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. Thank you so much for your time. Now, before we went on break, I know you were talking about there are other things to do when it comes to creativity or the creative content. There are other things we can also put our hands apart from creating websites and apps. Now, so tell us more of those things.
Yeah, people can go into, for instance, social media management and community development. That is online community. Facebook enables you to create a community around a product or a service or a brand. You understand? While other social media allows you. So when you go into social media management, you can offer it as a service to others. Let's say a company that wants to engage with the customers, with our customers, you create a community around the brand, you manage it for them. That's when the aspect of creating content, daily content, weekly content comes in. You charge for all that. So those are other things you can do aside just developing a one-off website for people and going on.
You know, in the second quarter here, in the non-oil sector, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, contributors, significantly. Let me read it up. The non-oil sector contributes about 91.18% to the national GDP, meaning that that includes the service sector, that includes information communication that you talk about, and it says that the sector grew about 1.6% in the second quarter. So would you attribute this growth to the fact that a lot of investment or awareness it's geared towards the fact that this sector are becoming viable? How do you respond to the fact that this actually has grown from where it used to?
I think people are now, because of governments creating awareness about people diversifying from, Nigeria has been depending on oil. That's right. So government have been trying to create awareness that people should try and diversify, majorly into agriculture and the rest like that. Agriculture. Yeah. So people are now gaining the consciousness that, I need to look at other aspects and see what we can do to be productive. Productivity is the key. How productive are we in this other sector? So it's contributing. So because people are diversifying, investment is going in that direction. People are investing in that direction. They're trying to come up with new products and services to fill the needs.
Okay, let's look at it. Okay, let's look at the future of this sector. Now, if you look at it, how viable is the future? Of course, we've seen the fact that it grew by 1.64% in the second quarter of 2019. We've seen how, tremendously it has contributed to the Nigerian, GDP. So, but the viability going further, it's what we need to know at this time. For some of you who play in the, creative sector. So what does the future look like?
Actually, people should get their minds off oil, because oil in the next few years will become obsolete. New oil is digital assets. People should invest in digital assets, anything digital, information technology and all that. That's the new oil, as I'll put it. So it has prospects. It has the potential of growing even further, because people are looking into, advanced nations are looking to invest more into artificial intelligence, for instance, and data sciences, which will contribute, which is part of the non-oil sector of the economy. So people should look more into it because it's very viable and that's great potential.
Well, so I want to stop here. Thank you so much for your time. I've been speaking with Tiscap Taiwo, a creative consultant. Thank you so much for your time on the program. Still watching Business Focus. We'll be back in a moment. Please do stay with us. Glad to have you back now. This is Business Focus on Kaftan Television. Now let's cross over to our studio where our reporter is waiting by to give us an update at the Nigerian capital market.
Hello and welcome to Stock Market Updates. I'm Precious Utweba. And now the Nigerian Stock Exchange is set to launch X Mobile, a dynamic and user-friendly mobile app to enhance investors' participation in the Nigerian capital market. The Nigerian Stock Exchange mobile app, which is currently in its beta state, will be launched at the 2019 Nigerian Stock Exchange Market Data Workshop tomorrow in Lagos. X Mobile is designed to provide market participants, especially retail investors, convenient, faster, and real-time access to the exchange's activities. It features market snapshots, stock prices, market analytics, and financial news, daily members directory, and trade simulation. Speaking on the launch, the divisional head trading business Jude Chiemeka noted that the delivery of the Nigerian Stock Exchange mobile app is consistent with NSC's new strategic intent to leverage on the fourth industrial revolution and the era of digitization to enhance the operation of the market. Price losses incurred by most blue-chip stocks dragged the all-share index further by 0.2% at the end of transactions yesterday on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And specifically, the index fell by 42.26 points or 0.16% to 27,047.58 points. Accordingly, investors lost 21 billion naira in value as market capitalization declined to 13.158 trillion naira. The downturn was impacted by losses recorded in medium and large capitalized stocks, amongst which are Nestle Nigeria, Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, Dangote Cement, Fort Oil, and UAC of Nigeria. The Chief Operating Officer of Investdata Consulting Limited, Ambrose Omodion, stated that the stock market extended its downtrend on high selling pressure due to investors' concerns over the social, political, and economic situation in the country, especially with issues like heightening insecurity. And that is for Stock Market Updates. I'm Precious Utwegba. It's back to you now.
And that's now all we have time for on the program today. Many thanks for your time. I am Frank Komalape. Bye for now.